Hello and welcome to my Sunday, March the 19th, 2017. So this diary is going to be pretty much all about the fact that I'm losing my singing voice. I know I've mentioned it before in vlogs on my other channel. I think I've mentioned it briefly here, but it's actually a pretty big deal that I'm actually losing my voice, or I've lost it, or something like that. Let's back up. Take the Wayback Machine to November. Sometime in November, I began to notice my voice was acting really weird, and I was having to work just a little bit harder to hit certain notes that I've hit effortlessly for years. And there were certain times when, if I didn't put a little bit more air into something than I would usually put into it, that the note just wouldn't happen. It would be a bit more airy than usual. But I thought, well, you know, it's probably nothing. Like, it's a thing, and I wouldn't worry about it. But then after Christmas, I noticed that my voice really was underperforming, like a lot. Like, it wasn't doing almost anything I wanted it to do. I would go up, and then there'd be patches and blank spots, and I would sing lower, and there'd be blank spots, and all through the whole spectrum of what I can do, my whole range of vocals, there would be spots where it would kick me up like an octave and a half too high, and I would start like screeching, and there was nothing I could do about it. It's such a weird feeling to know that you're not in control of your vocal cords. Now, the frustrating thing is I've sang for so long that I do it effortlessly. At least I used to do it effortlessly. For Pete's sake, effortlessly, as in without effort. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to go, okay, we're going to sing this here and we're going to go to this note here. I just did it because I did it for so long that there was no real thought involved in it. I kind of pictured the song in my head and just sang it. It was like a coloring book, or my voice was tracing, you know how you have a pencil and you have tracing paper and you trace over the picture? My brain traces over the song as I sing it, and it's just not a big deal. But it really has been a big deal lately because I can't trace. My pen's not working. I keep having blank spots. And then I keep having things where my arm goes blah, blah, and I'm way off the page and scribbling and ripping holes in the paper. And things just generally aren't working with my throat. And it's really frustrating because it's been since the end of December. And right now we're almost at the end of March, which brings us to about 3 months where I've had almost no control over my singing voice. Some days it's better, some days it's worse, but it is never 100%. The most I've even had it since this whole thing started was about 75%. But I've lost at least 25% of my range, guaranteed every day. Some days I have access to even less, which is really scary as well, because here's the thing. I've gone through some pretty dark depressions in my time on this earth. I went through one in my teen years, I went through one in my 20s, and they were deep and they were dark, and make no mistake, those pits were almost impossible for me to climb out of. But one of the things that's always helped me to climb out of that pit is the fact that I had the ability to sing. I literally grow wings and sing myself out of the mire and then out of this big, deep, seemingly bottomless pit. And if I can't sing, here's the problem. If I can't sing, I am going to absolutely get depressed. That is going to be something that happens. I'm going to start getting depressed. And here's the thing. I can't sing myself out of a hole that I am in because I can't sing. Does that make sense? I'm going to get depressed because I can't sing properly. And the one thing that I would usually do to help get myself out of the hole is play music. And that would be a coping strategy. But I can't do it to cope with it. Heck, how can you sing and write music to cope with not being able to sing? It won't work, right? And so I'm really worried about the backlash of this if I don't get this sorted out soon, or if it doesn't just go away. Now, it could be polyps, it could be nodes, it could be some kind of weird throat ulcer, it could just be laryngitis, but I've never had laryngitis for 3 whole months. This has never happened. Now, polyps and nodes and stuff like that, they happen for a multitude of reasons. Speakers get them. People that do a lot of public speaking, they get them. People who sing a lot, they can get them. Smokers, they can get them. Now, I don't smoke. I did smoke in the past at one point. I don't smoke anymore. I do talk a lot because I'm a vlogger, and when you talk, you have to lift up your cadence. Even right now, I'm talking to you. I'm talking with a slightly higher cadence than I would be if I was just sitting in my house talking to Margaret, because you have to. You're talking into a microphone. That's just how it works. And then singing obviously is a big strain on your voice. And when I sing for hours at a time. I'll usually hide myself down here in the basement for 2 to 3 hours just playing music. And that's a big strain on a person's throat. Now, some people think that this happens, you damage your vocal cords by not singing properly, which I suppose that can be the case, but that's not the case with me. I've been singing for 20 years. I know how to breathe and sing from my diaphragm. That is not a problem with me. However, there are certain things you cannot do from your diaphragm. There's certain things you have to use your vocal cords in a certain way. Well, for example, I used to sing a whole lot of Smashing Pumpkins and a whole lot of Nirvana. And to sing any kind of grunge song, well, name it, right? I mean, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots. There's a certain amount of rasp that you have to train your voice to sing like, but that takes its toll on your vocal cords. Now, as a young guy, I could come back from that kind of stuff. Maybe now my vocal cords are too old to come back from it the same way. I don't know. I'm sure that has taken a toll. And then there's just the amount of time that I sing as well. So I don't really know if I'm going to get it back. I don't know for sure if it's polyps or nodes or what it is. I still have to go and see a laryngeologist, a laryngologist, the doctor that looks at your throat, one of those guys. And I have to find out what exactly it is. But if it's surgery, the next question is it covered? If it's covered and I need surgery, then that's fine. My Ontario OHIP, Ontario Healthcare, will cover it and I'm good to go. I just can't talk for like a couple weeks after the surgery. If it's not covered, then that's a bigger problem. And if it's something that can't just be fixed with surgery, that's an even bigger problem. Now, I know some singers are like, I don't mind it when my throat goes all weird. Like Johnny Cash went through a time in his life where his vocal cords, he already sang deep, but it was smooth deep. And near the end, or in the 70s and the 80s, his voice was really deep, but it was more gruff when it was deep. And then near the very end, he was just having a hard time carrying any notes. It was really bad. But there's a definite time when his voice actually changed, and it went from being like how it sounded in the 50s and the 60s to the 70s and the 80s. And he liked that. It worked in his favor. It won't work in my favor. And it affects my entire range in a negative way. Every low note, mid-range, and high, it screws it up. And falsetto, kiss that goodbye. There's no falsetto for me. So it's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, that I need to be able to sing. I need to be able to play music. That's what I do. That's one of the things. If you know me, you know that I love music and I play it all the time. And it's a piece of my identity. It's a piece of my personality. And without that, I kind of lose a little piece of whatever it is that makes me special, is my ability to sing and play music. Maybe you don't feel that way. Maybe you feel like I'm being melodramatic. I don't. I've always felt like that. I feel like it gives me value in this world for other people to be able to sing songs and play music. So anyway, that's what this video is about. Just keeping you updated on my throat, sharing how I feel about it, and that's all I have to say about it for now. So thank you so much, Diary, for being there for me and giving me an outlet to get my thoughts down, because I really needed this. And I thank you so much for it. Thank you to everyone who watched. I love you very much, and I'll see you next time with the next video. Goodbye.